Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Conversation right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and today I'm pleased to introduce Renata Balla from Luxury Hospitality Management, Head of Interior Training. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me, Ria.
No, it's been a long time coming, actually. I've interviewed quite a few of the Luxury Hospitality Management team, and I think you should have been first.
Oh, thank you. What do you make me say that?
We've had a fascinating chat off air, and to the audience out there, quite a story, quite a story. Where are you from originally?
I'm born and raised in Hungary. And when I was 21, I left pretty soon. And that's because I just wanted to get out of Hungary for different reasons, to see the world. That was number one. And just to do something what I really wanted to do. And that was hospitality.
So how did you find yourself in yachting?
Yachting just came in a later age for me. I finished after basic education. I went to hotel school. My entire family is in the hospitality. My mom been always a chief stew, so I was close to know what to do in the future. And when I had decided that I have to do something after basic medication because my mom pushed me through, then I picked the hotel school, hotel management, which I did for 4 years. There you had internship, 3 years, 1 year just study. And then it was like mix and match both. And I stayed in a Marriott hotel there where I did after my internship, 5 years, just to get the foundation, just to get to know how is the hospitality goes. And my brother went to the cruise ships and he came home after the first contract and he said to me, "Hey, you really need to go there. It's such a beautiful girls out there." And I was like, "Okay, I do understand your point, but I would like to see the world." And he said, "Yeah, that's the other thing. So you should just try." So I did an interview with a company who came from France to do interview. And you just had to pass the interview and basically you had the job because I had a hotel management diploma. If you wouldn't have that all days, you would not be able to get into cruise ships. So I did the interview, but it was a really good looking guy, by the way. And it all went very good. And I ended up being on a cruise ships when I was 21.
Wow. So what did you start as on the cruise ships then?
I started on a really bottom. I started as a waitress, which was my profession, to be honest, because that's what you get when you did education. And I've been waitress for about 4 years. And then after, because I worked really, really hard, I think I did, I got a promotion to become a head waitress, which was very unusual those days. We're talking about 2000s, beginning of 2000, 2001, 2002. And I was really pleased because to be a woman and get a position was a little bit harder than just have it like that as a man. So I was really proud of myself and I loved my new role. However, my heart was still going to the waitressing part where I wanted to interact with guests more. I wanted to serve them. So it took a while when I got used to that. Actually, I have to lead a little bit more than do the service itself.
And so what took you from there? Did you take other jobs on the cruise ship, or was it a transition from the cruise ship over to yachting at that stage?
That's it. So I've been with the same company for 10 years. I signed off as one of the first female dining room manager. And then I wanted to stay on land with my partner, who is my husband today. And I have decided just to take a break from sea. That's not for me anymore. Didn't last it for too long. It was 2 months when I got really restless. My husband with a really good offer, working on a yacht, and then kind of we end up in the same environment. And so we moved country. We went to the United Arab Emirates, and we worked for the Dubai royal family for 8 years, both of us. And I started there as a second stew. That was the only position which was open, and I wanted to follow my heart, so I did. And very soon I became chief steward there. Then very soon I think after 6 years I was interior manager / purser, and I've been with them for 8 years. So there was 2 months where I did not do too much, which would be anyway my normal vacation time. And that was it for me, being on land for that time. And then, yeah, I've been in yachting in 8 years, and I just stopped in 2016.
What is it about the sea that draws you back?
The sea itself. And I think people who working on yachts or even on cruise ships before are different. Somehow we have a wider view. We can accommodate people much easier. We are more flexible than being just on a land, because on a land you are in a building and that's it. With the yacht, with the water, you're moving around the world, around the globe. And I think that's what pulls me back all the time.
Well, you've now been on land for 4 years.
I still go back.
Well, I guess, I mean, this, as head of interior training with luxury hospitality management, that is kind of the best of both worlds, isn't it? I mean, you get to be on land, but you also get to go on board and do your training. So you are spending time on the water and coming home at night.
And that's very nice. And that's what I like about it. I mean, you have to admit you're getting older for the industry just to be a full-time seaman. And that's the reason when I was very happy when the CEO of LH approached me and said, come on, work for me. And I didn't have a clue if I can do train. I did training internally on all the yachts, on a cruise ship, etc., but I never thought I can train people. But I knew I have a knowledge, and I think Peter knew as well at that time. And he really pushed me, he didn't push me. He asked me if I want to try. So I did. And within 2 hours, I knew, yes, this is for me. So it was very easy for me to adapt to the situation and just melt with the girls and just talk to them and just be one of them. And that's what I like.
So what exactly is your position, head of interior training? What are your responsibilities? I mean, as a layperson, I'm imagining that you go in and you teach the interior crew how to do their job, but what does that involve?
Wow. So interior involves, first of all, service specialist, which is our heart core business in interior. Then we have all the cocktail training, which I'm not training, is one of my colleagues. I think you met him before. Then I do housekeeping, I do wardrobe management and valet and laundry management as well. So these are the things I'm training myself, and I'm doing programs and slides, and I'm making material together with the rest of the team to make sure that we actually up to their fashion, because of course these things are changing as well, right? All days the service was completely different than nowadays, so we have to adjust everything to the present and not just live from the past. And that's very, very nice and kind of challenging as well, because you figure out yourself when you go on a yacht, that's a good question, I should take a note of that and just make sure that I'm gonna bring it to my next training as well. So the young people are kind of not teaching me, I wouldn't say that, but give me new ideas to come up and follow the fashion of the hospitality.
Well, let me ask you, with the situation that we have seen, the worldwide pandemic, of course, there is going to be a lot of different protocol that you implement with your training now, 6 months on. Have you guys created an entire sort of methodology with your training to make sure that you cover those things now?
And first of all, when we go to see a client, I just been last week training in Greece, and when we go to see a client, we ask them if they have protocol in place, and we're gonna follow those. Then you have to follow the ones which is required by the country where you're traveling to. So it is it's a lot of content you have to keep in mind. We just prepare ourselves and we just go with the rules, whatever they ask us to do. Like last time I had to go with the negative test. I came on board, I had all the protections, all the PPE with me. They didn't require anything. I've been on another yacht where they said when you are in a yard area, you have to definitely follow the PPE, like have a gloves, have the protection of your face and all. And as soon as I stepped on yacht, there was nothing like that anymore. It's very difficult to train in a mask, to be honest with you. You don't get the face of the people. You don't feel them as much as you feel them without the mask, of course.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to read people when you can't see their expressions.
We say a lot with this part of our body, I think, or face. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess by the very nature of interior, there isn't really much in today's day and age that needs to change because yachts are notorious for having to be, the best of the best. And as far as cleanliness, as far as disinfecting, etc., you've been doing that all along anyway. I mean, I can't imagine, I know a lot of yacht stews and ex-yacht stews, and I never invite them over because I just won't. The amount of care that they take in keeping everything clean, I don't think that there's a need to up that in any way, maybe a change of products. But as far as training goes, they already have that training, really.
Yeah, however, most of them, they know what they do. But we always say if we can give them an extra 10, 15, 20% person, what we can say is different, or you can make a difference to your owner, I'm already very happy to finish up the training, because I think it is very important when they come and they tell you, listen, I really learned this. I have not thought about it. And these things keeps you going, and that's why I'm so passionate about my job. I love to be with people. I love to share my knowledge. I love to pick up new things myself as well. And I'm very approachable, and I never teach as teacher and student. I never have that relationship. I always have a friend-to-friend relationship with them. And that's how you gain trust as well.
So you've been training for 4 years now. Have you noticed with Green Crew any difference in that 4 years, or is it just the same every year? Green Crew are pretty much the same attitude or the same drive.
Yes, it is. I still believe a lot depend on your leader, on your present leader. When you go on board and you have a chief stew which is really willing to help for greens, you can feel that, and you can feel that as well when you come on board and there is a green and she doesn't even know where she is. She just follows like a sheep every movement from the others, and that's not really, I do not like that. I prefer when you have a chief stew which is willing to teach them, tell them everything, or a second stew. It doesn't need to be chief stew, but somebody who do the onboarding with them. That's very, very important. But the greens are always the greens on a beginning. However, you can mold them the way how you want them. And that's what I like.
You have a great point there, because going through social media, I tend to see a lot of Green Crew saying nobody's going to hire me. They want somebody with experience. But you're so right. The fact is, if you hire someone who's green, and everyone is different. I don't care whether it be on yachts, whether it be in your private home, whether it be working at a local 5-star restaurant. The fact is, everybody has a certain way that they want things done. So does it not make sense to hire someone green, bring in someone like you, explain the way you want them treated, or trained, sorry, and train them accordingly, because then you have molded and shaped exactly to your specifications.
Yeah, that's it. And I think to have the foundation, the basic knowledge in service, in hospitality, that's number one, which should be done in any industry. Nowadays, they don't require any hotel management school, or nothing like that is a requirement anymore. What they require is the STCW, the safety courses, which is very important. That's number one when you are at sea. I do understand. But I think everybody should be able to understand the basics. And that's where you can come and give the basic training first. And then after, of course, you can return and help them to develop themselves.
So once you receive the basic training, what are the extra types of things that you can learn that can help you further your career?
After the basic training, you mean?
Yes.
That's when you do, when you actually make your rules or make your habits or make your standard operation procedure to the owner. And wherever you go, whichever yacht you go, you would be able to adjust to that owner, because that's your number one. That's what you are being hired for, to work for that person and please that person. If it's a charter yacht, I think it's even harder, because then 1 or 2 weeks you have to change completely different. For example, you're not serving from the right, but you're serving from the left, or vice versa. These are the things which you have to just switch and then just follow what this particular client wants from you on their yachts or on the yachts what they chartered.
Well, and something else we were talking about prior to coming on air was appearance. Something that I noticed about you was that there is not a hair out of place. It is perfect. Is that something that is extremely important when you are interior crew, exterior crew for that matter, but appearance is a big thing that people really have to, and we're not talking about beauty per se, we are talking about maintenance of yourself and self-care.
Yeah, I think that's number one. I think when you have a yacht like these days the owners have, which cost hundreds of millions of euros or so, you wanted to have your crew always well presented, right? So I am a very direct person. I think many people know by now in the industry. So if I have a training and somebody shows up the way I don't think is that nice, I try to make it a point and just go into that topic just to start off, for example, the training with the personal groomment. So this way, at least they will come back next day when I have the next day training, or even after lunch, they just realize, oh, maybe it was for me. I never mention any names, I never point people out, but this is a good, like, just to give them a hint that you should be, even though it is just a training, it should be done properly. And I'm not hard or anything. I can make it in a funny or address it in a funny way as well. But I think it's, yes, for me was always very important. That's my answer, actually. It was always very important. I hate when people come with wet hair and they just start their duty and their hair is still dripping of water. I cannot accept that. Sorry, I never been able to.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, at some stage as a chief steward, I imagine you would be in a position to hire. Now, when you see someone green coming in and they aren't looking after themselves well, I guess you would kind of wonder, if you can't look after yourself very well, then how can you meet the standard on board in which not only I expect, but as well the owner expects?
Yeah.
Well, Renata, you know what? It's been really interesting. Where do you see yourself being in the next 5 years? Are you still going to be head of interior training? Are you still going to be making the next sort of generation of yachting the best they can be?
I really hope so. Yeah, I keep working on my health, or I keep working on my to develop myself as well, because of course we doing train the trainer programs as well. Yeah, I really hope so. And yeah, I hope I see you again, and then we're gonna have same conversation but different topics. I might pick up some different trainings, or something comes up as a fashion. I am open for everything. I'm more like a hands-on person than just sitting behind my computer and make plans.
Well, you know what? If anybody is interested in having Renata come on board and just up the game of the interior crew, because you know what? Sometimes I don't think it matters what profession you're in, but there is never any harm in spending a little bit of time in making sure that standards are raised wherever you are. So we will provide all of your information if people are looking to hire someone to do that, exactly that, on their multi-million-dollar yacht, because it would only make sense. And Renata, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board here at Yachting International Radio. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ria. Bye.
Bye. Once again, you've been watching another edition of Coffee and Conversation right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I have been your host. Please tune in again for another episode.